Hello, you've caught me the day before my mum's birthday and I still haven't got her a present, but it's okay because I can just diddly-dee, widdly-woo, gift wrap, yes, order and done.
Oh, Robert, thank you so much. You must have put so much thought into this.
Thank goodness for modern technology, basically. Otherwise, I honestly don't know how I'd make it through the day. I mean, what do you expect me to do on people's birthdays? Actually think about them and go to the shops? I'm busy. Seriously, I've got pictures of Ratchet's ray-traced eyes to share and important memes to create. I don't have time to be a socially acceptable human being, which is why I've got mod cons to do that for me. Similarly with video games, thank goodness for all those features we now just take for granted that save us time and make our lives so much easier. Because back in my day, we had... Wait, I should put the old man beard on for this bit, shouldn't I? Back in my day, we had to change discs and use memory cards and... Here are 7 ways gamers don't realise how good they've got it now. And we'll start with trophies. I realised something the other day while bombing through Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, eating up trophies like candy. After the endorphins subsided long enough for me to form a cohesive thought, I wondered, am I enjoying this because it's fun and beautiful and brilliant, or do I just like the little bloop noise that happens every time I do something good? So I did an experiment. I switched to a game that I absolutely adore, Vagrant Story on PS1, but that has no trophies whatsoever. It'll be fine, I thought. I don't need intangible bits of digital recognition to enjoy myself. I'll beat this boss and happily subsist on the quiet, internal satisfaction that comes from having bested a difficult opponent through perseverance, skill, and hard work. I'm fine. Okay, I need a trophy. Please, someone validate me.
Well done, Rob.
Oh, thank you. Ultimately, trophies are proof that you've done a thing. They're bragging rights, a form of social currency that goes far beyond the half-second shot of happy hormones elicited by the sight and sound of one popping in celebration after you've done something great. Because the worst thing about having no trophies back in the old days is that I've got no way of proving to you, the audience, that I did beat Emerald and Ruby Weapon in Final Fantasy VII.
I don't think you did beat Emerald and Ruby Weapon
I did.
in Final Fantasy VII.
I did!
Back in the day, there was nothing more stressful than deciding which save to delete from your memory card. One wrong button press could be the difference between getting rid of that game you played for 20 minutes and can't remember the name of. What even is that weird little icon jiggling around? Or deleting 200 hours of progress in Final Fantasy VII. You have to delete something to make room, but how do you know you'll never want that save file back again? What if you need it for something important, like capturing it for a video you'll make 15 years in the future? Oh, I hate making decisions.
Rosie, do you want chocolate sprinkles on your cappuccino?
I don't know! Nowadays, cloud saving holds your tiny child hands for you, protecting every piece of progress and experience as you blindly gallop through the digital fields of PlayStation without a single care in the world. Combine this with autosave, a wonderful safety net in the event of power cuts or the times you forget to save for hours, and you've got an uncrackable bank vault of progress to fall back on. Good for you! Good for us! The magic of technology has made our lives easy, and the thought of all of our automatically saved games living harmoniously in the clouds together fills me with nothing but warm, fuzzy feelings.
Nowadays, discs are for DJs, extreme frisbee players, and sometimes for holding up next to your face so you can pretend you have giant earrings on.
Never gets old.
But back in the olden days, they were the only way you could play games. Preposterous, I know, yet these little reflective circles of information were essential. Don't get me wrong, I love a good old physical game in a physical box I can put on my physical shelf and occasionally look at, fondly, with my physical eyes. But being able to stop playing one game and start playing another without having to get off your sofa is just...
It's an absolute game changer.
Also, with digital games, no longer do you have to desperately polish the back of a disc in an attempt to buff out a scratch that's corrupted your whole game.
Well, the breathing trick. That's what I used to do. And did it ever work? Somehow, yes.
No longer can you accidentally put it in the wrong box and never see it again. No longer do you have to think up an excuse not to lend your games to friends. No, the future is now, with every game neatly stored away in a tiny digital library. So easy, so quick, so effortless.
Our next entry is a very simple one. It's free games. Free games that aren't rubbish.
Just a few years ago, this would have seemed impossible. One of the long-standing preoccupations of being a gamer is how best to spend your money. In some ways, it's the main preoccupation, one which underpins much of gaming culture. We used to read magazines and websites to make sure we were investing wisely. We played demos, sometimes to check a game before committing our cash, sometimes just because we'd spent $5.99 on the cover disc and we were going to get our money's worth. We were borrowers and lenders in playgrounds and workplaces, sharing games with friends and colleagues. We all became experts in second-hand markets and trade-in values.
And then they just started making really good games completely free.
There are a few key titles which pioneered free-to-play on console. Fortnite is a cultural phenomenon, and Apex Legends offered a more traditional shooter experience that showed just how fast things were changing. But for me, it was Call of Duty's Warzone that finally proved free-to-play games were real. I joined Official PlayStation magazine the same month Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare was released. It was on the cover and we gave it a 10. Ever since, Call of Duty has been an inescapable giant, reliably brilliant and a reliably huge seller. And now you can play the core of that giant brilliant thing for nothing. Like, if Rob spent half his school years playing the single level Metal Gear demo repeatedly, this is surely a sign that we have it better than ever.
Next up, rest mode. You lot today, honestly, don't know how lucky you are to have rest mode, essentially allowing you to put your console to sleep and then boot it up again later with your game exactly where you left off. No save necessary. Back in my day, and I don't need the old man beard for this bit because it's genuinely me. Back in my day, if you were playing a game and all of a sudden your parents decided that you had to go out, then there was nothing you could do. If you hadn't found a save point, tough, that's your game over. My mum wouldn't let me just leave the TV on either because apparently that's a waste of electricity and bad for the environment. Leaving your TV on is bad for the environment. Don't do it. No such problem in the Amazo future we now live in. Just pop your PlayStation into rest mode and everything will stay exactly where you left it. Combine this amazing feature with autosave, and nowadays it's practically impossible to lose your progress. Ever. Video gaming with stabilizers on. I am living for it.
I'm so stuck.
Well, why don't you look at a guide then?
Because I don't want to go to the shops to buy one.
What do you mean go to the shops? Just look up a guide online.
Oh yeah! Online guides, a wonderful thing, aren't they? You can use them to find out where you need to go next, for tips on how to beat a hard boss, to show you where all the little collectibles are, because even though I unlocked the infinite rocket launcher in Resi 3 and started shooting every single thing, I still didn't get all of them apparently! You can even look up whether you should trust a specific NPC. There have been far too many times I've trusted an NPC in a From Software game only for them to stab me in the back. I'm looking at you, Yurt, the silent chief from Demon Souls, who made me so worried I didn't sleep for 2 whole nights. The convenience of being able to quickly look something up is great. I remember a time where if you got stuck in a game, you had to ask your friend, or buy a physical guidebook, or, heaven forbid, phone one of those helpline numbers you often found in the back of gaming magazines. Oh lord, that is the wrong number. Guidebooks do still exist and make for lovely collector's items. I often take my Final Fantasy IX guidebook off the shelf and give it a good old sniff. But most of the time nowadays, if we want to look something up, we can just hop onto the good old internet. Quick and convenient.
Virtual reality. It's just bonkers, really, isn't it? It seems like some retro future design technology that we just shouldn't have on our faces yet, but strap on a headset and you can step inside a whole new pixel perfect world. And then smash it to bits as you pick things up and chuck them around accidentally whilst getting used to the controls. You know, the normal stuff when visiting somewhere new. I mean, yeah, you can just stare at your flat TV screen if you like, settle for your 2D existence and be happy, my friends. Who am I to judge? But when you can step inside the actual cockpit of a starfighter in Star Wars and interact with it in some next level immersive environment, you bet I'm leaving this planet behind and living my truth. It's not a phase, Mum. Virtual reality is like having a lucid dream while you're awake, engulfed in a 360-degree setting that transports you to a game's world like never before. VR is imagination made flesh. Back in the olden days, you'd have to pretend you were in the game and guess how big an X-Wing was. Stupid flat not all around you olden days.
There we are then, 7 ways gamers just don't realise how good they've got it now. Can you think of any other examples? Stick them in the comments, give this video a like if you remember what gaming was like back in the day, and subscribe if you haven't already, so you're always up to date with everything from the world of PlayStation. Thanks for watching, we'll catch you again soon.
PlayStation